Hello everyone, welcome to Gosport Railworks. My name is James, and today I'll be re-looking at the Dapol Class 33. I know what you must be thinking, James, you have reviewed this one again, why are you doing it again? Well, I want to bring this review up to my current standards, which means, yes, I will be reviewing a couple of locomotives again, mainly just so that all the videos roughly match each other. Anyway, let's go to the important things. First of all, let's do the product code, which is 2D001 class 33/1, which is running number of D6571 BR green with no yellow panel, which you can see just here. Now, this is a very lovely model, and so it has got a fair amount of detail on it, which I'll get into in a minute. But first, let's get to the paperwork. First, warranty, which no one actually reads, so I'll put that aside. Then we have the instruction sheet. On one side, it has where to lubricate and remove of the cab, so you can get the DCC chip inside. And on the other side, it says handling and unpacking locomotive, lubrication requirements, running in your locomotive, fitting DCC chip, which I'll get into in a minute. Accessory fitting, which inside this little pack here, which I've gotten out today. You get spare couplings, a bell, apparently it's in there somewhere, I can't see it, but the other bits which you also get are snowplow, pipes, buffing plate, dummy screw coupling, and etched double arrows, which I think is only on particular ones, because this one shouldn't have etched double arrows, because it's before that time. So I think you don't get all of them depending on which particular class 33 you get. So yes, mine hasn't got that, so I'll pop that over there. Let's get a quick close-up. To remove the body, you just need to gently wiggle it off. I won't do it because you can damage the lighting equipment, which is on either end. It is a bit loose, but I think unfortunately when I first did it many months ago, I did inadvertently damage it slightly, because one of my rear lights on this end doesn't light up all that well. It's either that or I just dislodged it slightly, so do be very careful. You do have grating on the side, which you can actually see through, which you can't see on the camera, unfortunately. It does have, like I said, directional lighting, both ends. Have a quick sew of that. It may sew up properly. Ooh. Yes, and see, one of the red lights doesn't quite sew up properly. It is lighting up, but it's a bit dislodged, and so I'll have to have a look at that at some point. It doesn't really bother me because I like running it this way around with the engine exhaust at the front. So, and again at the side, it runs fine. Does have NEM pockets, and it has a fair amount of detail. Light on the there's a switch on the bottom, which controls the directional lights for the red lights. So if you don't want red lights, you just click that off and you won't get any red lights turning up. So leave that on there. It's got a fair amount of turn for the axles, so I would assume it's the usual. It can run around 12-inch layouts quite far. No, it's preferred 12-inch, but it can run around 9-inch. I haven't had any issues on first radius, so that's fine. So compared to my class 50, I do like that this one has got a painted exhaust up here, because it makes it look a bit more stand out. The decals are all nicely applied, and underneath it's a bit bare, but down here you will not see whatsoever, because it'll be completely flat against the layout. But where you can see, it's nicely detailed as well. Just try to remember the price of this one. I think it's probably about 110, possibly around that. I don't quite remember because I have bought it. No, I did buy it quite some time ago. So let's get it onto the scales before we get it onto the turntable, then onto the layout. So zeroed off. That's what it is on grams. It is a nice 78.5 grams. So it's a decent amount of weight, and it should have no trouble, for the most part, taking things along. No dragging things behind it. I will mention sometimes these couplings can be a little bit fiddly depending on what stock you've got behind you. In my previous review video, it did keep losing my test rake. So that may be an issue with these couplings, or the other couplings. There may be slightly different heights because there's a Dapol and I was using Ferris Mark 1s. So that may be the issue. So anyway, let's get this onto the turntable, and then I can tell you a bit more about the Class 33. So here we go. The British Rail Class 33, also known as the BRCW Type 3, is a class of diesel electric locomotives ordered in 1957 and built for the southern region of British Railways between 1960 and 1962. A total of 98 were built by the Birmingham Railway Carriage and Wagon Company, and were known as Cromptons after the Crompton-Parkinson electrical equipment installed in them. The locomotives were initially needed unusually because of an electrification scheme. The Kent Coast scheme was one of 5 major electrification schemes put forward by the 1955 modernisation plan. This scheme would remove steam from Kent, which it replaced by electrification on the heavily used lines and diesel electrics on the remainder. The locomotives began service on the southeastern division of the southern region, but rapidly spread across the whole region, and many were used much further afield. Most of these locomotives have now been withdrawn from active duty, though 3 are available for use on passenger services with Spot Hire Rail Company West Coast Railways, who also have one as a spares donor. A number of others have been preserved and are operational on Heritage Railways for a grand total of 29 in preservation. Right, here we are on the layout. I did have to give the Class 33 a spin just to make sure it can run around without any issues, because it's the first time I've actually used it on this layout. But just not to spoil anything, I'll show you what it can do. This is on DC, just to point out, so slow speed will not be as good as on DCC. So it does need a fair amount to get it to start. This is but after it's done the initial startup, it can do nearly a decent slow speed. I think it's just geared slowly. Well, so it should be able to do a nice slow speed crawl. That's the slowest I can get it without. No, it's stalled, so maybe a bit faster. But that's not what we're here to see. We're here to see it go fast. As you can see, it's getting around my layout without any issues. Behind the test rake, it will be coupling up soon. Don't not wander off too much. And there's the reverse lights, where the brake lights. I'll show you that on my one. Because the reverse lights from this side, where it's a bit darker, so you may be able to see them a bit better. Yeah, as you can see, it's not quite lighting up on one side, but yeah, it's probably because I've done something to it. So hold my hands up for that one. It's probably my fault. So the camera's pointing in the right direction. So yes. So I remember it was about 110, but it wouldn't surprise me if I did actually pay a bit more for that. I would also like to point out that Dapol are actually bringing out some new ones, especially one in a Network Southeast livery, which I'm very tempted by. Because I also do like my Network Southeast liveried locos. So yes. Seems quite happy. Right. Now let's get to, actually I'll put a bit forward just so I've got enough space to couple it up and actually not turn that off. But yes, let's try coupling it up. And I do know I have tried to straighten out all the couplings on here and also the test rake. So hopefully nothing will go wrong. I'll say in very much hopeful. So up in your back. So here we are with the test rake of the usual 8 Mark 1 coaches. Here's the infamous coupling, and it seems to be fairly happy so far, but let's see what it does. If it doesn't pull this lot, I can always get some. Oop. Yeah. Let's try that again. I can certainly push that much. Let's just see if it's go down a little bit. See that, I'll have to turn it the other way around and see if that works. So let's try that again. I managed to pick them up, so let's just bring it backwards. Let's try a very simple solution. Ooh, get off. Put you back on. Right. Wait, other way around. Alright. I have no idea what to explain for that other than possibly one coupling's just odd shaped or something like that, but yeah, I'll definitely have a look at that. It does actually seem a little bit lower on this side, but yeah, other than silly coupling, seems to be quite happy now. And this is what, it was about 80 odd grams, isn't it? So 100 there, 200 there. It's nearly about, it's over twice its own weight. So other than my infamous coupling issue, it doesn't seem like it's doing all that badly. I will say it's actually doing all that well, so put a bit more stress on the coupling just to see. It seems quite happy now, so let me bring it to a stop right in front of us. So yeah, Other than this coupling, which may or may not just be the coupling, my particular model, or just a design fault in the actual series of models themselves, it seems to be a lovely runner. And if you see one at a good bargain, I'll say have a go on that. No, try and get one. But yeah, maybe something which I have to have a look at. I have had issues like that before on another locomotive, but annoyingly also Dapol. So yes, maybe something which I have to have a look into in the future. But for now, this is the end of the video, so hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to favourite, subscribe and like the video. I may have missed one. Comment, that's the one. So yes, I'll see you again next time. Bye bye now.